this episode, we carry on with our discussion from last week. Now, don't be fooled by the title. This is definitely not what you think. Yes, we have the normal problems with tech, and for some reason, the video has me out of sync with the audio. But of course, if you're listening to your audio, you'll never know that. We've had some people reach out to us to say how they can contribute to our discussions. So, if anything resonates with you, please write into us at wrinklesandwit@gmail.com. That's right. And look, I'll put that down here somewhere. Or you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and The Talk. And as always, this is not for young ears, and we hope you enjoy the chaos that is us.
Yeah, I think that's part of this age group as well, is learning how to accept those things that you just can't change.
No.
It's a great shame. I mean, your dad, it's a shame. He needs to know how lucky he is to have a daughter.
I know. Yeah, and I tell him that all the time. You're one lucky bastard. But,
Yeah.
but my dad should know.
Michael, he's right, isn't he?
So, but honesty, Michael. Mike, fuck me. Why can't you change your name? Can I call you Harry?
Sparky. Call him Sparky.
Sparky.
Yeah, Sparky, that's my nickname.
That's better, Sparky. Now I've forgotten what I'm talking about again. This menopause is really shit. It's great though, because Tim will say something to me, he'll piss me off, and then like I said to you, I'll forget in 10 minutes.
Go and have a bath and water the garden.
Oh, I will. Fill up in a minute. Go sprinkle. I'm sorry, guys. If you wanted anything serious, it ain't going to last long for me.
So Ian actually didn't give us a response to that question, did he?
What question?
The sprinkles after the bath.
Yeah, you lost me now.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was sort of, I think I'd broken up or just around there. My response was quite simple. I don't have an answer for that and I won't enter into it.
Oh, please. Come on. Come on,
No,
Ian.
he really does have an answer for it, but he doesn't want to implicate himself. That's what he's about to tell us we're fucking old. That's all it is.
Oh, that one just went
Right.
woof.
Muscle control. That's all it is.
Yeah. Right, I'm doing my muscle control now.
Have you used the Kegel balls?
What? Obviously
Kegel
not.
balls.
No, I
Where'd you
went to
put
the
that?
hospital and told them when I sneeze, okay, I have a twinkle and a tinkle and it's really pissing me off. And it's not all the time. I can't go on a trampoline because I would be a human sprinkler. I have now they gave me, right, this thing. It was like an egg with
Yep.
a fishing rod in it. And they said, insert, lay on your back, look at the wall, look at the dildo, Raoul. Dido. What is it?
Oh, not the dildo, honey.
No, not the dildo.
We would call it a chair rail here, I think.
Yeah.
Right, and then line the top of the fishing rod up and make it move. Well, I was in the middle of doing this and one of my children walked in at 7. And they were like, Mum, what are you doing? And I said,
A fish.
Oh my God.
I didn't.
So you
It's
didn't
not-
continue fishing there.
That's a funny story.
It went in the bin. I can't be doing with that. Shall I?
Okay. Well, that. Okay.
Okay.
So
That's probably-
I will answer your question.
Yep.
It's LBL. There we go.
labia bollocky life.
Fancy. No, it's light bladder leakage. It's quite,
Yeah.
and it can be. Yeah, I'll let you talk to a doctor about the process. But you can.
Will it stop when my menopause stops? Is it all about
No.
hormones, or is it just I'm going to get worse?
no,
So basically, I'm going to turn into a slug.
No.
I'm not quite at slug stage, so I can't go with that.
Yeah.
But
Well, there's one bit of good news, Dawn. You're approaching 60, yeah?
Right.
When you get to 60, you get half price tenner pants at Boots, the
I've
chemist.
already got them, and they're 20s.
Oh, okay.
But when I'm 60, I probably won't be able to get in the bath. So they won't matter.
that's true.
I'll
Do you have
be-
the same? Okay, so I've got a question for you then. Do you have the same problem when you go swimming?
I don't go swimming. No, I don't. Well, maybe I do. Maybe I don't notice because me
I
swim
would
stuff.
say you don't. I would say you don't because it's a difference in the temperature of the water.
Oh, I wondered why my bath water level goes down.
Because if you're in a pool and it's cold, you're contracting.
So I have to
therefore it
contract.
doesn't happen.
Oh,
So what happens is you get in a bath, it's warm, it's cozy, you relax, everything just relaxes.
yeah.
Right?
And then as I get out, it goes.
There you go. That's
See,
your.
that's another thing, Lisa. We are so unfortunate when it comes to all this stuff. I mean, really, guys, what problems do you get apart from longer earlobes and your ball sack gets longer? There's nothing, is there?
Well,
Their
I do
noses
find
keep growing.
Yeah.
Oh, the noses.
Nose
Yeah.
hair,
I do
thumb
find
hair,
now that
Yeah,
no,
back hair,
no.
lower back
Yeah,
hair.
That's nothing. That's just hair.
yeah.
that's no hair and no.
We're not
can't
talking
make
about
that
just hairy bits. We're talking about like you
your.
don't have. I know you're on the other end of menopause. There, you cop the crap. But like I said to Michael and Vicky, I'm a big believer in there should be some form of formal training that's not training, but information out there for blokes.
Yeah.
Not what we get, because what we get is feminine. But for men to understand,
Deal with us.
to understand, because it's a couples issue. It's not just a female issue.
Yeah.
And
that's
there's
why
not enough education for men,
We've certainly
aimed at
experienced
men,
it
we
with
for
have
men.
it all through the spectrum, Lisa, don't they? Us women, because like I don't know, I'm not generalising with all you guys here, but you know, I've had relationships in the past when I've had my period and I've been really shitty and hate everyone. And then he used to say to me, "Got your period?" And I just thought, ooh,
And that's enough to make you want to job them, isn't it?
yeah. Don't say that. Rub my belly, give me a foot massage, say, "Oh, all right, darling, just sympathise with me. Don't say, got your period. Suppose I'm not going to be able to shag you tonight. Fuck off."
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly. But I do believe that on that side of it, I can't believe I'm saying this, but on that side of it, men really are on the back foot because
they don't experience it.
They don't experience it. They hear it. They hear it all the time. They see it. They cop the brunt of it because, as like most relationships, you take it out on the person you're closest to.
Yeah, totally.
And they don't get it because, and it's not necessarily their fault because they don't experience it. They don't feel it. They don't feel the emotional side, the physical side, the hot flushes. All they know is we're going off. And it's usually at them because they're closest. And I just think that there should be some real information out there for men to say, it's not about you, it is about them. They don't hate you, and this is why. Although some men I could probably say I hate it, but that's a whole other story. But do you know what I mean? Like and Ian's nodding from a medical point of view as well. He would probably see it too. Yeah, it's true though, isn't it?
As guys, as husbands, I mean, how do you cope with your wives, girlfriends, or whatever with the mood swings? Are you pretty good about it, or do you go, "Oh, fucking hell, here we go"? Or do you
I'm well experienced in this house.
Yeah.
With all of those problems, and to begin with, it took some acknowledging, to be fair. But then I found myself, well, it is what it is, and it's a very open relationship. So Sian tells me, what she's feeling and why, and again, and then it is going back to that thing of I just accept it. I just have to because
can't help it.
Well, there's no other option.
No,
there isn't another option. I can't change it. I can't fix it.
But it does change your whole life because, like, me and Tim will be in bed, and I'm hot, so I'm throwing the covers off, and then he's throwing them back at me, and I'm like, it's just silly things like that. It's like I'm boiling hot in bed, and then he'll try and put his arm around me, and I'm like, get off! I'm too hot. I can't be doing that. Get your legs off me. And he's like, I can't win. You know, you want me to be more affectionate. You want to cuddle, and when I cuddle, you're like, get off! I'm too hot. It is hard, isn't it?
But it's like what Mike just said then about Sian telling him that, what's happening. When it first starts, you don't
know
realise
what's
it's happening.
Yeah.
No.
You don't realise. All you know is you're snappy.
And you're going mad, I think. It's like, what's going on with me?
You are. You're snappy and you don't realise it. And that's when a lot of the damage in that relationship can be done, because it's done before you even realise what's happening.
And you're so nasty. The way I can explain it is exactly the same as when I used to have my periods. Like a week before my period, I was horrible. I was up and down. I'd cry. I'd be angry.
I wasn't.
You know, see, I'm like that now. It's easing off a bit. I'm not as bad, but I'm quite neurotic, I think.
See, I wasn't. When I was having my periods, I wasn't moody. I'd get a backache. That was about it. But going into menopause, yes, I was. So that was a real shock to my system, because I wasn't a moody person in general. And so that was a real
change your whole body.
It does. It change your whole mindset.
Yeah. And you poor guys have to put up with us, but there must be a male version of the menopause. I think
it's called andropause.
Oh, really? I've never heard of it.
Andropause.
And it's
never heard.
Yeah, and what it's to do with the testosterone levels creeping down as you get older. Yeah. And so the best way I can explain it is when you're in your 30s, your 20s and 30s, you feel bulletproof.
Yeah.
And then as you get, for me, as I've got older, anxiety creeps in. For me, it was also there was some depression, but I think there's a family issues with that as well. But particularly anxiety. Ian's known me for like 30 years, and people have always said I've been the most easygoing person they've met. Always fairly happy with the world. And then as I've got older, I can actually feel that I'm not that same person. My resilience has waned. That bulletproofness is not there anymore. Well, there is a little bit. And so it's called andropause, I think it's called. Yeah.
Andropause. Yeah.
And like menopause, it affects each man differently. Some will get it badly, some will not even notice it. But it's but even for women, menopause is also, apart from just loss of estrogen and all of that, it is also a drop in our testosterone levels.
That's why I have no sex drive. I have no sex drive.
And that's why if you're going to take a supplement, you take one that actually will boost that testosterone more than the estrogen as you're going into menopause or going through menopause.
Well, I'm hoping it will come back at some point. No? Poor Tim.
I'm single. What have I got to say, Michael? I'm single. It doesn't go away completely. It will come back. I promise you it will come back, yeah.
Poor sod. I even said to him the other day, go and get a call girl if you're that bothered, because I really don't care. And he's like, I don't want a call girl. I want you to want me. And just for him...
Just give Sicky Vicky a call. Get her over. She can entertain him.
I think he just wants to feel wanted, but for me, it's not that I don't want him. I just have not got that sex drive at the moment. I just don't. I'd rather have a bath, take the water out, spray, go to sleep.
I was waiting for it.
But
yeah.
You're not so unusual in that respect, I don't think.
But do men get lack of sex drive, or is it just a
Does
woman?
it do what?
Do the men lose their sex drive, or is it just a menopause thing?
I haven't.
I don't think Tim has either. No.
I think it's well for me. I have, but it's weight gain. It's particularly it's weight gain because I know that's affected me in the past, where I think I was in my 30s and put on a lot of weight, and then nothing happened, so I had to go and get the drugs to sort it out.
Ian's doing it now.
And then and then I've put weight on again, so it's the sex drive is really low.
But does your weight gain go hand in hand with how you're feeling mentally? Do you
absolutely.
think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can say that I'm a comfort eater,
Yeah.
and I guess one of the reasons why 50 was very significant for me too was I was made redundant at 50, and
Right. So felt you.
that fucked me up,
Yeah.
and
It did.
and in more than I would ever have thought. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think there is also, when I look at it, of course, I'd have no research for this, so it won't stand up into any empirical study, but I'm sure there's depression in my family.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but as I said, I did never feel depressed, in my 30s, but now, as it crept in, and so when I was made redundant, and for probably 4 years I was on antidepressants to help me with that, and yeah, I'm now off them. But
how long was it before you worked again, Mike?
9 months.
Okay, yeah, I had this first time I was made redundant, I had 10 months, and in that process, I lost my house, and that actually, it was one of the most significant times of my life. Really, it was hell to go through at the time, and I was fortunate it was just me. I mean, I had a long-term girlfriend at the time, but I certainly didn't have any other dependents, and my parents were both around and quite local. But yeah, I had to sell. When I say I lost my house, I had to sell it, and I was really fortunate. I sold it for the same price I'd bought it for.
Wow.
But I came out with absolutely nothing. I had not a penny to my name. And I went and lived with an aunt of mine who was my mum's eldest sister. And that was meant to be for a year. But I ended up being there for 2 years. And by then I started working again. And that was a job where we had that password thing. And then I was able to get up a deposit for a small flat and went on from there. But it was a real significant time of my life. I'd had a good career. I'd worked in the city. I'd gone through Big Bang. I learned really well. I learned a lot more than my peers and old schoolmates and that. And like you, I thought I was bulletproof. I'd became a member of the stock exchange in my own right, and I'd achieved what I wanted to achieve. I think I was quite good at what I did. But that really knocked my confidence.
It's
It
gone.
really hit me up. And looking back, that was 30 years ago nearly. That actually was a good thing to happen to me because it changed me. It made me become much more aware, have much more empathy for other people. It wasn't about, it was fucking horrible at the time. It virtually crushed me. But looking back, it was a good thing to happen to Mike Sparks. Yeah, I think it's changed me as a person for the better.
Do you know,
Just
Mike, you saying that, I had a volunteer a couple of years ago. He was quite a high up businessman, did a lot of travel for his job around the world, around Australia, but also around the world. He had an accident which made him incapable of working. In the end, it was a bit of a legal battle with work because of it. He ended up homeless. He lost his wife, his kids, everything through it.
No.
Ended up homeless. It was through us as a charity that we got him back. This was prior to me meeting him. Got him back on his feet. Gave him a home, or a room, at least an apartment to live in. And I developed, when I went to that particular shop, I developed a bit of a soft spot for him. And on a regular basis, I still remind myself that could be any one of us, and that has really stuck with me. I haven't worked with him now for nearly 2 years, but it still sticks with me that, at any point any one of us could lose everything. And
I did.
and to be grateful for what we've got. Yeah.
Yeah. It's certainly character building, but I found it took a long time before I realised that actually it was a benefit to me. But horrible to go through. Absolutely horrible to go through.
So that's what makes us who we are now. It's a crap thing to go for, but you know, all that's happened to me and probably all of you, your own experiences has made me who I am, and I'm not judgmental. You know, I hate racism. I hate homophobic people. Not hate, it's a strong word. I dislike it very much, and yeah, I think I've come out better for it. I'm more open to lots of situations. That sounds a bit wrong. Open to more care than I was before. I was quite self-indulgent, I think, as a younger person. Hadn't experienced a husband with bipolar and having kids and being in sheltered accommodation. And you know, I look back now and I think, you know what? They wasn't all bad times. It was some crap times, but I had some fun.
Yeah. And you know what? It's what we've all been through that has brought us to where we are now. We wouldn't be here if we hadn't had the lives that we had.
No, definitely
So
not.
thank you, Michael, for bringing us all together.
Where's Mike gone?
I don't know. He's actually dropped right out. But
my machine's on about 7%, so I'm probably going to drop out without wanting to.
Yeah, I've plugged mine in.
I've got 7%.
I'll tell you what, before we go, because you know we've been doing this for over 2 hours now. Before we go, I'd really like to know how you felt about what we've chatted about. You know, how this chat has gone.
I'm finding it interesting to see how quickly you get to have a relationship with people you've never met. Like, I mean, myself, know you, Michael, but just with 2 hours of open chat, how somebody can seem familiar to you. Yeah. Maybe it's just because where we're at in life and got shared experiences, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Connections.
And we're all pretty similar, aren't we? Us humans, really. Let's face it. We've all got our same shit going on.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it. It's been good. And I apologise if I've said something that's embarrassed or offended anybody now, but it ain't
Not at all. Not at all.
So how, Michael, to go back then to your question, how do you feel it's gone?
I this is going to sound really conceited, but I
knew it was going to be good.
But I knew this would be a good group of people, a great bunch of people for who you are. You weren't at this chat, Lisa, you know, when you had to say in Sydney, but because I know you all bring something different. And to quote you, Dawn, I knew this was going to be good.
Well, I think we're all we're all full of life experiences, and we're all, I think, genuine. I mean, I don't really know any of you, but I'm quite a good judge of character, and I think you're all nice people. So if any one of you were wankers, I would go, fuck this, man, I'm out.
You know, it's really interesting though, Dawn, because I'm the first one to put my hand up and say I spent many years as a people pleaser. And that's why I said what I said earlier, that if everyone likes you, you're doing something wrong. Because I spent a lot of time being who someone else needed me to be, whether it be at work, whether it be at home, whether it be my friends or whatever.
But I still do that. I still do it.
Well, do you know what? I don't. And that came, going back to what Michael and Ian both said, that came from when I was unwell and I had a doctor that kept saying to me, you need to go and see the psychologist. And I kept going, no, I don't. I'm fine. No, I don't. And one day I remember walking in there and going, I need to see the psychologist. Best thing I ever did. And the first thing she said to me was, you need to learn to be selfish. And I said, I can't be selfish. That means taking something away from someone. She said, exactly, you need to take yourself away from people.
Yeah.
And take a step back and look at me, how So I got to a point that with everything that was going on, and there was a lot of stress and a breakup and everything at the same time, I actually got to a point where I could say, because I hated him, I'll be honest, at the time I hated him, but I got to the point that I could say, hang on a minute, I let him treat me like that. I let him make me feel like that.
You was
that was
enabler.
my doing, right?
Yeah.
So I had to take responsibility for my part in that. And then I started to take responsibility for my part in friendships and different things like that, other relationships. And now I basically, even in my working life, I have a really good relationship with my bosses and have had for probably the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I say it straight and I say, this is what I can do. Don't micromanage me because I don't work under that. Tell me what you want and leave me to do it. If I need you, I'll ask. And the first time I ever said that to one of my bosses, I remember as he walked away, I went, what the fuck did you just say? That's your boss. And he was my new boss. And it was like, what did I say? I mean, and you know what? From that day forward, I've kept that
in your head.
Yeah. And look, you say about self-confidence. I have moments where I don't have any self-confidence. And again, people that know me well find that hard to believe. But when it comes to my job, I know what I'm doing.
You're in your element. Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
But the thing is with me, it's been really hard, this move, because as I said, I've left my kids, my mum and dad, all my friends. I was in the Dengie where Michael and I lived, and I knew for like 50 odd years, I knew everybody. I'd walk down the street and they'd go, hi Dawn, or I'd chat and da-da-da. And I've moved to this tiny village where it is full of older people. And you know what? Probably the first 5 months I just cried because I missed my kids. I missed my life. I'd message my kids and I'll get choked up now. And I'd message my kids. I'd go, excuse me, ugly crier. Right, it's mum. And they go, you're right. And I go, I really miss you. And then they go, you moved.
How long is it, Dawn, from where you are?
2.5 hours, not far, but I won't drive on the A1, which is the main road that will take me to here back to Essex because I've got a fear of motorway, so it's quite isolating. But my kids don't really need me anymore. They don't. I message them and I go, all right, Mum. I go, how are you? And they go, fine. And the oldest one, I go, hi, Sam, I'm still alive. And he goes, oh, don't start. And I think, well, it's my need. It's not their need. It's so hard letting go. But you have to because they've got their own lives now.
Yeah.
God, I'm not big one fucking crying.
Well, I'm really surprised I haven't because I thought I'm bound to. So we probably need to wrap up because Ian's got like single percents. So Mike, while you were away, we were just asking. I asked everyone, how have you found today this discussion?
I've loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. Thank you all. What a fun thing to do. Right, just going back to old age and speaking your mind and being honest about stuff. I want to read you this, which is a letter my dad had this. Okay, it's a thank you letter from an old lady. I'm going to take my glasses off to read it. And she's in the Crawford Burn Old People's Home in County Down in Ireland. And it's written to a Mr. A. Walker of Rank Xerox, who obviously gave her a gift. And it says, Dear Mr. Walker, I want to thank you for the lovely transistor radio you and your district so kindly gave me for my birthday. This is dated 1982, by the way. It is all the more wonderful that an absolute stranger like yourself remembers old people like me. I am 97 years old and have been at this care home for the last 26 years. We are treated very kindly, but the lonely hours are very hard to bear. My roommate, Mrs. Jones, has a radio, but will never let me listen to it and often switches it off when I come into the room. But now I have one of my very own. My grandsons and granddaughters are very nice and come to see me once a month, but I know they only come along as a sense of duty. This is why your gift is all the more wonderful and thrilling to me, as it was given out of compassion for a fellow human being. God bless you all. Today, Mrs. James's radio broke down. She asked me if she could listen to mine. I told her to fuck off. Yours sincerely. A real letter.
I'm so glad I didn't cry to that one.
Let's be honest, eh?
All right, guys. Look, really, this has been a blast. Thank you so much. And before Ian's battery dies, again, thank you all very much. And I'll get back to you soon.
Don't turn your device off.
Yeah, don't turn your devices off. I'll just stop recording, and that's all we're going to leave it for now. Next episode, we haven't even recorded yet, so God knows where that's going to go. But we'd love to know if any of this resonates with you. And if it does, write into us at wrinklesandwit@gmail.com. You can also comment on the video via YouTube or find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. And if you enjoyed this, please give us a like and subscribe, because that's the best way that you can help us spread the laughs. And of course, please do the same if you're listening to the audio on your favourite listening platform. So thanks for listening, and see you next week.